Welcome to the Creative AI Show. What do we have this week, Brian?
Hey Rosh, happy to be here. We, as always, are two creative guys talking AI. And you know what? I know you've been asking about this for years and years. You really want to be able to talk to dolphins,
You
but
got it.
Google's doing it right now. So it's an example. They just released something in there with their AI tools of deciphering the language of other smart species like a dolphin. So just, I want to talk a little more about this technology and the ways that we're using AI and just the future possibilities of, technology like this right now.
Certainly.
Yeah. And then also a video I published this weekend on Pika Twists. It's a kind of a game changer with the video world where, before we've talked a lot about image to video, but now we're manipulating videos and changing what's happening in those. So it's kind of a video to video based on your prompt. So I do want to go into some detail on that. And more importantly, I want to hear what you have going on, bud.
Oh, well, let's talk Vertex. It's just a wonderful place to play on Google and Google Cloud specifically. And I will get into how you get there because it's not really a straight shot.
Okay,
And
yeah.
well, I'm going to focus mostly on the media section. There's a media, creative media area, although it
Yeah.
does other things, and I will talk about that too. And then I just want to talk about jump off that topic into making your own tools. As a
Yeah.
creative, I've always used coding and creating of tools as a creative outlet. And I know it sounds a little weird. A lot of times I just planned things out, even businesses out, even years ago. I would just build a website to help me kind of visualize what that business might be. So
Right.
that's just maybe I'm odd about that, but that's kind of a creative outlet. So I want to get into that for
I mean, some people
second part.
write songs, some people build websites. I
There
mean,
you
it's
go.
all whatever your creative output is. So no, that I get it though, because when you get into the weeds of it and you get to, figure out what's working, what isn't, it's very rewarding in a very creative process kind of way. So I understand completely. So, but yeah, so speaking of Google, Google really is somebody that, if you heard our show 2 or 3 months ago, we were probably saying, hey, they're doing okay, but OpenAI and all these other directions are kind of surpassing them. And they kind of waited by, I don't want to say waited, but they waited until they built something really good and have released it. And the Google Studio, I mean, we've done the Google image creation and, you've actually gotten access to Google Video. But they are really stepping up their game in the worlds of AI because they have to, because, there's
Hmm.
Facebook, there's Apple, there's Google, there's Microsoft, OpenAI, there's DeepSeek. There's so much competition out there. And, these big names and, the internet that we've known for the past 20, 25 years, that they're not just going to let everyone go buy them.
Yep.
So, Google. So I read an article that just came out in my AI news about Dolphin Gemma. And what this is, it's an AI model designed to decode dolphin communication and potentially enable interspecies dialogue.
Nice.
So just think about that for just if as humans 50, 100 years ago, where, we just had written word or vocal, spoken word or, some basic recordings and stuff, to the point where now with these tools, we might be able to communicate with other species in real time. I mean, this is truly a next step, next level application of the technology.
Yeah.
And whales and dolphins and there's a lot of other animals, especially marine mammals in particular, that have an intelligence level that's close to humans and surpasses some humans that I've met.
Well, it
Um,
surpasses in different ways. I mean,
yes.
you talk about creativity. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see a really creative person, and it's been said many times, wow, look at that creative person. They're so dumb because they can't do other everyday
Right.
things.
Yeah.
And I think the same with the species. We're going to learn how smart they really are.
Yeah.
And it may even change our perspective and how we
Right.
treat them because, you and I can't go through the world with sonar.
No. Right.
We can't
And
interpret things in ways or turn ourselves into the shape of and look like a rock, like a octopus. I mean, those
right.
guys are smart. I wish they could.
That's insane, right? Well, chameleons, you can think about that, with their skin tone, but yeah, like an octopus where it completely changes itself into its surroundings. And, there are far-fetched theories out there that the octopus is truly the extraterrestrial living on this planet. But based on what it can do, it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. But if we can start breaking down these walls, and it's funny you mentioned, octopus and that, made me go into the extraterrestrial thing. But, if if we're able to work on this technology now, and again, we're at the infancy of all of this,
Yeah.
and it's able to decipher buzzes and clicks and different things that a dolphin's trying to do to, actually talk and be able to communicate feelings, emotions, thoughts, ideas. If we're going to continue to develop this technology in 20 years, we could have something that if, say, an alien popped out of the sky and landed on the ground and tried to communicate with us,
And we are
maybe it's
totally
so
changing the
smart.
title of the show next week.
Yeah, I know. We're putting our
Alien
tinfoil
AI.
hats on. Yeah, alien AI. I love it. Well, tinfoil hats encourage. So, but but really, if
No,
like you said,
you have a
I
point.
love that thought of it changing the perspective of maybe how we treat these animals. Like, I don't know if I want to know what a cow or a pig or a chicken's thinking because maybe, that might
That's
change
going to
our
ruin the
views
bacon
on.
in the morning, isn't it?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it changes, kind of that perspective on things. But this is a big deal to understand another species' language, and what it is more than anything is this: the AI's ability to perceive these different things that might be outside of our hearing or feeling or
Mhm.
kind of range, and then the ability of it to go through all this complexity and make sense of it
Yeah.
and find
Well,
these patterns. Pattern recognition more than anything is
yeah.
huge.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking creativity. I mean, it's up to us to think of the creative ways to use AI, and that's a very
Right.
creative way. And there are more
Yeah.
ways. And to your point, we can only see what 0.003% of the visual spectrum. I mean, that's
Right.
less than 1%. And and our hearing is about the same. And the way, in other words, we really have no idea where we are at this moment. I mean, we think we
I,
do, but we see
Honestly, we're
such a
just on a
small.
giant rock in the middle of nothing. So
Exactly.
here we are.
It's just our brain interpreting what it can, and it's not
Yeah,
much information. So
right.
anyway, so that's fascinating.
Yeah, if these tools are able to perceive things at an extra level than us and be able to unlock some of these, mysteries of the universe, I think that's what's exciting about this for the next 20, 50 years is that all
Mhm.
these mysteries of the universe that we've had, I think are going to slowly become unlocked and our level of understanding of consciousness and all of this is going to grow exponentially because of these tools. And, the same way I look at it is before humans had cars, how far could they get in a day?
Right.
And now that we've got a car or an automobile or whatever, how much further could we get in a day? That's how much more we're going to be able to perceive and understand. And it's exciting. If you don't look at the potential negative side of it, if it continues to go in the right direction, it can really enhance humanity. And that's, the optimist in me wants that to happen.
We just want to keep going that way because the other way we just don't want to think about.
No, no, we don't want to think about it. So, but speaking of Google, I would love to hear what you've been doing with Vertex.
Yeah, so Vertex was actually a pretty good video for us too. Console.cloud.google.com forward
Oh
slash
my.
Vertex dash AI. Yeah, rewind that and
Yeah.
get yourself
And
there.
you thought ChatGPT had a naming problem.
Yeah, yeah. Naming conventions, these folks are, yeah. Anyway, so Vertex AI has a lot of tools, and one of the best ones that of course, obviously, as creators, we love the Media Studio,
Hmm.
which allows us to create music,
Yep.
create audio, images, create video, and this is where you have access to VO2
Hmm.
natively and the updates. Now, I've used fall.ai.com to use VO and it's done really well and it has like kicked butt among everybody. But when I went to this version, there was more detail. There's more detail in the background. It really was a much nicer,
Good.
cleaner version of VO. Now, maybe there's just been an update across the board, which is very well may be the case. So something I did 2 weeks ago is like, 3 years ago in AI world.
Yeah.
So, but that could have happened. So let's give credit to that possibility. But it's so nice because one, you go in there, you click it, and then it gives you a little thing on the side that says, "Oh, you just click it. Now you're in the in the image area. Now you click it, and you're in the chirp. That's for AI voices. And then you
Hmm.
have another thing called Lyra,
Lyra, yeah.
Lyria, and
Oh, Lyria, maybe.
Lyra, no, Lyra, and maybe
Mm.
Lyra is the right way to pronounce. Yeah. Anyway, it's not that awesome. It's not a uh
Music. Oh, Refusion.
refusion.
Oh, it's
Tip
my
of my
favorite.
tongue.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. So it's not refusion. So
Okay.
Refusion is still a better place to go if you want to create that country song about your dog. But
Especially
if,
country.
yes,
Surprisingly enough, not to throw shade at country, but AI can replicate country like you wouldn't believe.
yes,
It's slightly
just fine.
formulaic. Yeah.
But Lyra, it will create a nice little background noise
Okay.
or music to a. So if you want to add a little something to your background, you can do something like that with it, and so
That's good.
that's kind of nice. So so have you played with any of these?
Well, I've done the Google DJ. I love that one where you can kind of blend in your moods on a little slider bar and add in all sorts of influences and kind of live update. And, I think that'd be really fun for a party if most people like kind of understood and knew how to do it and they hear what the music's happening and they're like, ooh, I would like a little, Afro beat added in there. I would like this added, different types of genres. So that I thought was kind of revolutionary because it was a whole new way to kind of make music. And
Hmm.
being somebody who's, not afraid of technology and music, I mean, if you saw my pedal board down here, it's 24 pedals deep. So to think that I am, a purist on just creating music with just, acoustically, no, I'd love to use any and all tools for it. So, but yeah, Google Studio's been really, really fun. The music, the actual song creator on it, I wasn't so happy with, and the only little 30-second clips from it. So its limitations were there for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so not all of them are solid winners, but this is where I
Mhm.
think really where they update everything first.
Yeah.
Now, this is a platform that's been around for a while. It's just starting to really get some legs as of recently. People are talking more about it, and
Yep.
that's mostly because I think they put a lot of these things in Vertex. But Vertex has been around for a little while. But you also have other options here. It's kind of like the go-to place now because you can also go to the stream real time where you can show Gemini your screen for real
Mm.
time and all that. So you're able to connect with Gemini there. But it also has an AI agent builder, which is kind of nice. And
Yeah.
I haven't dug too deeply into that, but there's Vertex AI Search you can play with. There's the AI engine, excuse me, the agent engine and the agent garden. All sorts of, there's a whole list on the left side here that I'm just kind of looking through. And if anything that you want to kind of create, this may be a good resource to start working on, maybe building a little project. But I'll talk more about that in my next segment.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a good handoff there. All right. So yeah, I wanted to mention Pika has. What I love about Pika is what it's kind of that steady image to video creator where maybe it's not as good as say Kling or Sora at certain things, and I certainly think it's better than Runway. But what Pika does great is it constantly introduces new features and new ways to try to build your scene of your 5-second clip. And this latest one called Pika Twists, it's one of the first ones. We know there has been one before where you put in a video clip and then you add in an extra picture of, a character or something. And,
Right.
you've done that to some mixed results, we'll say.
Yeah.
I think they were fun. But what this one does is it's an image, you upload a 5-second video, and if it's longer than 5 seconds, it only grabs the first 5 seconds. But then you actually give it a prompt of the way you want that video to change. And it takes that character who's in the video and the motions that they have in the video, and it starts with the video you uploaded, and by second 2 or 3 it starts to change it based on your prompt. So in my video I had one that absolutely fooled me. You would think that it was a real recording done with a real camera. So it was an older lady. She had I used Kling. So this one of the things I want to talk about with this is and any AIs across the board, the quality of your input directly affects the quality of the output.
Oh, most
So
certainly. Yes.
yeah, so I uploaded some ones that Pika had made before that were okay, and then I had it make some changes, and the changes were good, based on the prompt, but it took a character and kind of made them, as soon as it took over with the animation based on the prompt, it kind of made the character look a lot more animated and cartoonish. But this last one from Kling, first of all, the first video was just an older lady giving a very genuine smile, like somebody had just given her a heartfelt compliment. And the lighting on her face and the shininess of it, everything was perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. I could not find anything wrong with it. And what I wanted to do was, instead of this 5-second clip of her smiling, I said, all right, now make it look like she's picking up a cell phone and happy about the conversation. And Rosh, I tell you, in it got so much right to where the first one she's looking at the camera and smiling, and this one she smiles and then she picks up the call and turns her head slightly and
Huh.
kind of like nods and like
Yeah.
it gives a legit conversation. And
Oh
I'm
wow.
like, and there were no, nothing was blurry about it. The hands were perfect. The smile was perfect. It took the direction. The only drawback was like I said cell phone, and it was like a late
Yeah.
90s cell phone that had an antenna and stuff like that. So it was a little
Okay.
thicker.
Okay.
But I bet you I could have written, an Android or an iPhone or something, and it would, I can go through enough iterations to make it perfect. But um, when you get a really high quality input to start and you give it a kind of a basic prompt like that, you can
Hmm.
really, really change these scenes and do some things. And, if you're a video editor or something and somebody right at the end of a clip does something that you don't really care for and you want to try to have it change or something like that, there are ways that you can use this in, a commercial application and make it kind of work. Obviously, we don't want to go unethical and make somebody do something that you wouldn't want them to have
Right.
originally done. But it's kind of game changing in the fact that, it's taking a full 5-second video and making it look legit with an updated prompt. Have you played with Pika Twists at all yet?
I have not. I've played with most of the tools there at some point, but that's one I have not used yet. So
I
I
think it
saw
only
your
came out
video.
this
It
Friday,
was great.
so but
You
yeah.
did a good
And
job
what
with
I
it.
what I love about Pika too, when they do open a new feature in their kind of library, their homepage, they'll show the last 8 or 9 will typically be that newest feature and ways that their community has done it really well.
Yeah,
It'll show
right.
the prompt, it'll show the output, it'll show everything you need to give you the basic building steps to kind of wrap your head around what type of video to upload, types of things to ask for. But yeah, it was great. I was really impressed with it, and they're earning my continued subscription.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yes,
No, I like Pika just for like you've said, it's not always the very best,
hmm
but they are very creative, and you're able to do some nice things, and they're improving.
yeah.
But yeah, we've had our complaints with 2.2, but still, at least
I
they're
used
innovating.
2.1 in the example
Yeah,
I did. So it's like I've kind of stayed away from 2.2. I think I look at it like when they're like, okay, we got to fix this. So
yes,
yeah.
yeah, they will.
So
2.5 will
all
come.
right. Yeah, I
So.
want to throw it back your way. I'd love to know more about the kind of tools that you're building. I know you talk about this a lot, so I want to hear some examples of what you're
Oh
making.
yeah. Well, I wasn't going to share any examples
Oh,
necessarily. I mean, I create tools just to help me with my business. I help with creativity. I just, as I mentioned, I just use is a just a way to work through ideas. But
hmm
there are so many tools. I would recommend just to start is just to create a chat bot. Learn how to connect that chat bot. And you
I
can
like
do
it.
it through Google, their API, very inexpensive. You can do it with OpenAI.
hmm
And and if you're not sure how to write the tool from there, guess what? You can ask the AI.
Ask it. Yeah,
And,
I
and
love it.
I've run into some, API system that I wasn't quite sure what to do, and I just copy and paste the page what you're supposed to do because I didn't want to read it. And so I copy paste, put it in ChatGPT or something like that, and then said, okay, now create this, and it
Yeah.
would do it. Now there are a number of platforms that are I do it with just say Claude and ChatGPT and even Gemini once in a while. But there are tools like Lovable that you can use, and that's really helpful because it gives you some support all the way through the process.
Right.
We've talked about AWS. We've talked about Google Cloud, and sometimes those platforms can get really complex in the process. So having a Lovable to help you and do that, it can make the development of your idea, a lot easier.
Good. Yeah,
So
I tried. I did a little AWS trying to get to some of their latest ones, and it's like, wow, this gets to a whole level of complexity when it's this open source kind of API different thing. Whereas just go into ChatGPT.com, it's already built and packaged for you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Even
like a little different
hosting.
way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a part of AWS called Light Sail, and that's the simple, easy portion to
hmm
maybe host a website. But if you want, say, a new folder within there, you actually have to, through a terminal, add permissions, add the type
Oh my
of,
gosh. Yeah.
writing, reading and writing. I mean, I've actually gotten pretty good. I know the the commands now, the command lines now pretty well, but in the beginning it's very intimidating. So what's this terminal? What am I doing? It looks like a 1982, black and green blinking light at you, and if you mess it up, it don't work.
Crashes the whole
Kind
system.
of a
Yeah.
thing. And
DOS.
you have to understand these command lines. But anyway, back to the creation. We all have ideas, and I think we're at the point now that even if it's kind of a real world in quotes idea, it doesn't necessarily have to be creating a new app, but you have the ability to use these tools now to take your just most amazing ideas and just start with step one without hesitation.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing thing. And I really, and I have been able to create wonderful tools that I've actually make money off of online, because I've been doing this for a while now. But the thing is, I have so many ideas that maybe as I was developing other things, I thought, well, I can't do that because that's just too difficult. It's
Hmm.
just not
Now,
anymore. So my list has gotten
yeah,
really long of the things I want to do.
that's it.
So,
It's
I mean, have you
exciting. Yeah.
developed anything? Have you used, AI to create new things as of yet, or is it more been? I know you've used it engineering wise, which has been amazing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean more than not so much like building tools for websites or anything like that. Like I've had a conversation with you about starting to develop an app for our business networking,
yeah.
and I've gotten the conversation going. I've kind of put it on the backlog right now because I've been busy the past couple weeks, but knowing that I can, and again, to reiterate the importance of just ask it.
Yeah.
Whenever I do a speaking presentation about AI to a large group of people, that's my most important point that I want to walk them to all walk away with is that the sky's the limit and you just have to ask the right questions on how to do these things. And
Hmm.
then, if you get to a step that's a little over your head, either you hire it out or get somebody who can't, or ask it again to explain that step in a deeper level so you can then learn and get yourself to be where you need to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, to have a tool like this that's so open-ended that, the only limitation is the question you can ask.
Yeah. So, creativity. Here we go. A
Yeah,
lot of fun.
precisely. And yeah, that's it's the exact reason why we do this podcast every week. It's the reason why we do these videos up on our YouTube channel every day is just to show people how to use these tools. I think there's a fear of the unknown so much before you can just get into it. And it's like, no, you could just go to chatgpt.com and start asking questions and let your brain run whichever direction you want to go.
Yeah, we are so used to saying that can't be done and
Yeah.
allowing blocks to happen that we will even make blocks for the chat GPT and
Yeah.
for Gemini. So, oh well, they can't do that, or that's too complicated, or I mean, you're actually making excuses for the AI. I say this because I've done
Hmm.
it. I've
Oh yeah,
literally
me
sat
too.
there saying, "Oh, that sounds pretty complex. I don't think the AI is gonna like me asking that question." But no,
Right.
it found a solution, and there you go. But I've caught myself. I can't tell you how many times because we do it to ourselves all the time.
Right.
And now that dam is broken, and off we go.
Yeah. Yeah, the training wheels are off, buddy. So, but yeah, thank you again, everyone for listening. If you've listened this far through and you're on our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. We're always trying to grow this channel. We want to grow the amount of information we share out there. Keeps us motivated, looking at the latest things coming out, and just keeps us sharp playing with all these things. So, please in the comments if you have any tools that we haven't gone over yet, let us know. And yeah, we're two creative guys talking AI.
Talk to you next week.